Hi guys, Brent here with a lighter commentary video today. I'm sorry about the heavier one that we had to talk about the other day, but you know, it is a commentary channel, so I just talk about what is on my mind, and that was definitely on my mind. So we are back here today with a much lighter video. Today we're going to be talking about active perk design, because I feel like, especially with this latest chapter, we are focusing more on active perk design instead of kind of like, I would argue, the more boring side of perk design that we've been having in DBD for quite some time. And I just feel like the game is going to be in a better direction if we keep going with this active perk design. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So first off, I kind of want to define this real quick. I want to talk about like what active perk design in my head, like that term, what that means, because that might be lost on some people. So let's go ahead and define that real quick. Active perk design would be something like flashbang. I think flashbang is a very good active perk design perk, because you work on a gen a little bit and then you get in, you actually produce an item. You produce an item, which is essentially just the firecracker items, but you produce an item, and with that item you have the ability to go change the match. It's a very active perk. Most perks in Dead by Daylight are not active perks. Like Prove Thyself is a great example. You hop on a gen with another person and suddenly the gen is just kind of passively going faster in the background. You don't really have to input anything besides just kind of like happeningly to just be getting on a gen with another person. It's just very coincidental. It doesn't require a lot on you. Another great example of a good perk, but a passive perk, would be like Desperate Measures. Desperate Measures is people get injured throughout the match, your heal speed and your unhook speed go faster. But there's not really anything you do as the player to really control this or, you know, input anything into the game to get value out of this. It's just kind of like, as these injuries are happening in the background, you are just getting a subtle buff that gets stronger based on the way that more people are getting injured, you know? Like, you're not really doing anything active. There's no plays there, right? But most perks in the game really do kind of boil down to this very just in the background kind of design, and not background player, not background player, but like it's sort of just background design of like, okay, well, I equip this perk and this very passive thing happens that, you know, kind of buffs me in some sort of way, but there's not really something I'm actively inputting into the game to play better, right? Like, there's not something I'm actively doing to activate this perk, to be skillful with this perk. And that's what I've always enjoyed about the killer side, especially of DBD versus the survivor side, is because the killer side with powers are very active, because like the way you use and utilize your power, it kind of like inserts some very you know, some player nuance. Like there's part of me coming through while I'm playing this character, because if I'm playing somebody like Huntress, if I'm bad at my hatchets, I just miss. Where if I'm really good with Huntress, I'm like suddenly putting out a lot of pressure, I'm getting a lot of snowball. Like, I want my input into the game to be felt. And I feel like with most perk designs in the game, both on the survivor and the killer side, there really isn't a lot of expression. I think that's the best word I'm looking for here. There's not a whole lot of expression. Because so many perks designs in the game are just passive and really don't have a whole lot to do with you. Even the stronger perks in the game, which you would consider active because you have to activate them, like Sprint Burst and Life, they're really kind of autopilot-y. Really? Right? Like, if you really think about it, those perks are very autopilot-y. Like Sprint Burst, unless you're like actively focusing and trying to 99 it, it kind of does just go off. It kind of just goes. Life, you hit a window. You can hit windows wrong and get hit. But like Life, you hit a window and suddenly you're just zooming, you know, halfway across the map. A lot of perks in this game are very passive, even the ones that are a little bit more active. So this is why I was like super excited when I hopped on the PTB to, because I don't really care for the Nicolas Cage thing, and I know that's gonna it's gonna upset a lot of people. I'm like Nick Cage, woo, whoop-de-doo. Like I wasn't really like, I'm not hype about the IP. So like when I hopped on and I was playing Nick Cage and I was playing his perks, I was like, these are pretty dynamic. Like all of his perks are very dynamic. The drama perk is very dynamic because you could use it for distance, but it's not a whole lot of distance. So, you know, maybe it'd be more efficient to use it in chase. But if you use it in chase, you might get exposed. So that's kind of monka. It's kind of scary. But you could use it to try and get an item. Like, it's very like, there's a lot of input. There's a lot of different ways you can use that perk, and it's not all like just one way, like one input, right? It's not just like, okay, well now I'm passively faster at gens now. You know, it's like you can use it for different things, and the way you input and use it dynamically affects the match. Same with his other perks. With Plot Twist, there was plenty of times where I, instead of needing to go get another teammate while I was injured, I would use Plot Twist to go run into a corner of the map where I knew the killer wasn't, drop myself, get back up, and I was healed. And I was like, well, that was a smart play. But while I was playing killer in the PTB, there was plenty of times people would try to kind of like disappear mid-chase or disappear because they were injured nearby and I was chasing somebody else and I was in the Terrius, and they would go down with Plot Twist and I would find them. I would find them, and then that's just a free hook, right? So that player's input was like, oh, I can probably get away with doing this within the Terror radius, and they didn't, and then they took a hook for it. Whereas like the way I was using it, where I was kind of trying to, you know, use it as kind of a in place of a teammate, kind of like something a la like inner healing, right? I was getting a lot more value because my input as the player was getting me value, whereas the players I was running into were using it, were kind of using it a little bit more riskily, and it was actually making them eat hooks because they were using it a little bit too risky. There was one that was really funny, and I would love to use this the B footage for this if I remember. There's a really, really funny one where I'm playing Spirit because she got her add-ons all changed in the PTB, and I'm phasing, and while I'm phasing, they use Plot Twist. And it was kind of a cute and quirky idea, but I just kind of like looked down, I'm like, oh. I just pick them up because I found where they dropped. It was interesting, but like I liked that these perks are actually very firmly dynamic, and they have a lot of expression, a lot of things that, depending on how you use them and who the player behind them and what they decide to do, dramatically changes the match. And it actually feels like, you know, especially with like the Survivor side of things, where like, you know, like Survivors are essentially just all skins of each other. Actually having some expression as Survivor felt really good. It felt really good. It felt like I was, you know, the game was a little bit more dynamic. And I really, really thoroughly enjoyed that. Now, I really hope that Behavior takes this lesson on these dynamic perks and start introducing perks like this to Killer as well. I would love to have like dynamic expression perks like the Drama perk, like Plot Twist on the Killer side. I think that'd be really cool. I think that'd be really fun. I would love to have perks like that. Instead of just having passive buffs, it's something I have to like actually input something, activate somehow. I feel like those would be really, really amazing. I feel that'd be super duper fun. So hopefully that's the route they're going with it. Is not only the buck doesn't stop here with Nicolas Cage, but they introduce more perks like this into the game, because active perk design is really fun and it allows you to express yourself as the player. And if we had more perks like this in the game, I feel like the game would be more fun overall. So yeah, what do you guys feel about active perk design? Do you agree with me, or do you actually like that more perks in the game are passive? Let me know down in the comments below. Well, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching today, friends. I do upload daily, so I will see you tomorrow. But if I don't, I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.